my goodness!
Good to see you.
Come on in. Come on
Thank
in.
you, thank you.
Welcome to our humble abode.
That when you arrived to China first time in your life, somehow you felt home. Can we go back to that year and can you tell me a little bit more about that feeling? When was it?
Well, it's really wonderful that you asked me this question about feeling at home, because we're in my home and we're surrounded by things that I have made or designed and lived with for all of these decades. And to go back to 1981 in the summer, it was really hard for me to get a chance to go to China. I was a student at Berkeley and I had no money. And so a friend sublet my apartment so he could write a book in the apartment during the summer. And Tong Liang, who was my Chinese tutor and good friend by then already, she loaned me some money.
Okay.
And I was able to join a program to come and study at Beijing University for the summer. Imported. By the way, this is the very first piece of work that I designed on a commission. And it was for a specific place in a client's house. When they sold the house and got a new, smaller place, they didn't have a place to put it, so they loaned it back to me. So I mounted it here. It's a movable screen. And it's stainless steel and brass and art glass, and some of the art glass is Chinese and some of it's cathedral glass that's imported. And so when I see that, my client, who's a friend of mine, he was just here yesterday. We had a birthday party for another friend, and he paid me $100 for this as the design fee plus the material costs. And he was so embarrassed by how little he had given me.
You wrote a book and it's in Chinese, but with new techniques I can read it. I'm going to read it. And when we started to talk about a little bit about our Chinese experiences, I just told you the first impression for me was when I arrived here 8 years ago first time, and second time and third time, and this is my fourth time, that I still feel the heritage of the few thousand years of a continuous culture. And you don't feel this everywhere in the world. I mean, I traveled 110 countries so far, which is not that much because we have
a lot more than me. I've only been to about 60 countries.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So what I can feel here, that I still feel the heritage of the few thousand years in the everyday life. And I'm curious how you felt this, meanwhile you are having much more experience in this country.
Well, you know, as someone who had studied China as a prospective professor, from an analytical point of view, I understand this continuity of culture. But there's actually no substitute for living here and experiencing it. That's why I moved here and gave up my academic career, was because from a library, I could not really be a participant observer in what's happening in China today. And what's happened during my 40 years in China is one of the greatest stories in human history. But what's really amazing and what you're pointing at is, despite all the economic development, despite all of the changes in society, China remains China. And I think that that's something that other countries could learn from. And so this is by one of our resident artists, a guy named Greg Emery, who's actually getting to be very well known in the United States. He's based in New York. He painted that at the Brickyard, where you're going to go see our hotel. And we had a studio there for visiting artists, and that's where he painted that. There's a story behind, I collect pewter, you know, and these are pieces from the 1930s. That's a set of 4 drinking mugs with poems in them.
Poems.
And there's an English translation of the poems. And please, in each one, because I, even though I'm not illiterate, these are hard for me to read.
When I see a little paper with writing, I always think it's a message. So let's see.
Okay.
On meeting a messenger to the capital, it's a long way home, a long way east. I'm old and my sleeve is wet with tears. We met on horseback. I have no means of writing. Tell them 3 words. He is safe.
And
ooh, you see, I feel it.
Do you know what these are?
No.
Can you guess?
I was just thinking about some massage thing, like you can.
No, not a massage thing.
Not like.
No. They're feather duster handles. So what they did was they put feathers on it, and then they used it to dust the scholar's objects. A lot of the things in here are scholar's objects that would be on a scholar's desk. And so usually this kind of thing was carved by the scholar himself for his own personal use. And it's just beautiful the way it's been carved and stained from one piece. And so I have several of these. They're very hard to find, ones that were around originally. But if you look at this brush pot, it's not straight, it's just very slightly flared and curved. And so this is carved out of a solid branch. That's the way they were made. And they're just, I admire the workmanship. I admire the sense of grace. I admire the imperfection, because nothing that's made by a person is ever perfect. See, I collect glass, and so these are the pieces when somebody was brushing to make a scroll, they hold the ends of the paper down with these. I have a whole bunch of these. This is another one of those things. I feel like it's made of pewter. And then these are ewers. This is a beautiful thing on a scholar's desk. It was made to hold water. And so when you had an inkstand, then they had to pour the water to mix the ink. And these are also ewers for water. And this is another ewer. And then all kinds of, I mostly do pewter, but I collect all of the wooden stands and so forth. Some of them are modern, most of them are old.
So you're still having this artist residency?
Unfortunately, no, because we don't operate the businesses ourselves anymore.
Okay.
And it was something that was one of our passions. It was a way of giving back, and also it got free publicity.
Yes.
To do the thing. And so Ray is one of those people who became a good friend of ours. He made these relief sculptures by hand out of wire mesh.
Oh, really?
And he's very well known and shown all over the world. It's a really tragic thing. He started off as a park ranger and then was a very senior official in the National Park Service in the United States. But all along he made art, and he's known for many years that he was going blind. And so he chose this medium because he made them, he can't see.
Somehow it's a beautiful story.
And so he made these sculptures. And then the resilience of a person, then he got Parkinson's disease. And uncontrollable shakes. And he can't make these anymore. And I love the light here. The light is very, very
gentle.
nice. In our big old house, it was full of nooks and crannies, and there was only one great big room, which had a loft that was our daughter's favorite place in the house, and looked right out at the Great Wall.
That's what I'm waiting for to see.
But here in this house, we don't see the Great Wall. The Great Wall is that way.
Okay.
And this is all faced to the south, and I have no way to create a view here. But when you go to the Brickyard, Every single room looks at the Great Wall.